Hello students, welcome you all to the digital learning of DC. Now the present video is helpful for undergraduate students of commerce. Fifth semester. Subject income tax. Module 2nd residential status. In our previous sessions, we have discussed about the tax, types of taxes, powers to levy tax, sources of income tax law in India, and basic terminologies used under the Income Tax Act 1961, like person, assessee, assessment year, previous year, income, agricultural income, non agricultural income, rebate of tax, gross total income, and total income. Now, let us study about the topic of today's is residential status of an assessee. Under this, we will discuss about introduction, types of residential status, different taxable entities, determination of residential status of an individual, basic conditions, conditions to be fulfilled as an residential status of an individual, determination of residential status of a Hindu undivided family, basic conditions, subsequent conditions, and conditions to be fulfilled as an residential status of a Hindu undivided family. Learning objectives to make the students understand the concept of residential status of an individual with the different kinds of residential status, basic conditions, subsequent conditions, and conditions to be fulfilled for determination of residential status of an individual and a Hindu undivided family. Learning outcome, students should be able to understand the residential status, classification of residential status, and to determine the residential status of an individual and a Hindu undivided family with basic conditions, subsequent conditions, and conditions to be fulfilled for determination of residential status of an individual and a Hindu undivided family. Let's begin with the introduction part. Income tax is charged on total income. Total income means the income of an assessee is calculated under the five heads of income, like income from salary, income from house property, income from capital gains, income from business or profession, and income from other sources. The total aggregate income under these five heads is known as gross total income. And from the gross total income, we have to deduct the deductions under section 80C to 80U, and the balance value is remained is known as total income of the previous year. The year in which the income is earned is known as previous year of a person at the rates fixed for the assessment year by the Finance Act passed in the Parliament every year. The residential status of an assessee is determined with reference to the period of his residence in the previous year. The residential status of a person may change from year to year. Income earned by the assessee is in the relevant previous year is taxable in the subsequent assessment year on the basis of his residential status he assumes in that previous year. An assessee may assume different residential status in various countries in the same previous year. Let's discuss about the various types of residential status. For the purpose of determining the residential status, all assessees are classified into three types. First one, resident in India, or we can call it as ordinarily resident in India. Second one, not ordinarily resident in India. And the third one is non resident in India. Different taxable entities. For determining the residential status of an assessee, we have been broadly classified the different taxable entities under five categories. The first one is an individual, a Hindu undivided family, a firm, association of persons, and body of individuals, a joint stock company, and every other person. Now let us understand about the determination of residential status of an individual. For determining the residential status of an individual is determined on the basis of the fulfillment of the following basic and subsequent conditions. Now let us understand about the basic conditions. An individual should stay in India during the relevant previous year for a total period of at least 182 days or more. It means an individual should stay in India during the previous year for a minimum period of at least 182 days. Second, basic conditions. An individual should stay in India during the relevant previous year for a total period of at least 60 days, and he should have stayed in India for a total period of at least 365 days during the 4 previous years immediately preceding the relevant previous year. It means during the relevant previous year, he should have stayed at least 60 days or more, and subsequently 365 days or more during the 4 previous years immediately preceding the relevant previous year. These are the two basic conditions has to be fulfilled as an individual. There are some of the additional conditions. An Indian citizen, in case, who leaves India for the purpose of employment or self employment outside India, the period of 60 days has been extended to 182 days. It means he left India for the purpose of employment or self employment outside India. He has to fulfill, instead of 60 days, he has to fulfill 182 days. Second additional condition is an Indian citizen who, being outside India, comes on a visit to India, the period of 60 days has been extended to 182 days. Here, the explanation says that he must have to be stayed in India for at least 182 days instead of 60 days. Here, what are the conditions to be fulfilled as an residential status of an individual? First, to fulfill as a resident in India or ordinarily resident in India, an individual is said to be resident in India in any previous year if he satisfies any of the two basic conditions and both the subsequent conditions. Then only he will be called as resident in India as per section 6 subsection 1. Not ordinarily resident in India as per section 6 subsection 6. An individual is said to be not ordinarily resident in India in any previous year if he satisfies any of the two basic conditions but fails to satisfy one or none of the subsequent conditions. Non resident in India. An individual is said to be non resident in India in any previous year if he fails to satisfy any of the two basic conditions. It is immaterial that whether he has satisfied the subsequent conditions or not. Determination of residential status of a Hindu undivided family. The residential status of a Hindu undivided family is determined on the basis of fulfillment of the following Basic and subsequent conditions. Let us understand one of the basic conditions. The control and management of Hindu undivided family affairs should be situated in India. It means the control and management of Hindu undivided family should be located in India either wholly or partly during the relevant previous year. Subsequent conditions of Hindu undivided family. The manager, or we are going to call it as an Karta, the head of the male dominant person of Hindu undivided family, should be resident in India in at least 2 out of 10 previous years immediately preceding the relevant previous year. The second subsequent condition is the manager of Hindu undivided family should have stayed in India for a total period of at least 730 days during 7 previous years, immediately preceding the relevant previous year. Now, what are the conditions to be fulfilled as a residential status of a Hindu undivided family? First, resident in India as per section 6 subsection 2. A Hindu undivided family is said to be resident in India in any previous year if it satisfies the loan basic conditions and both the subsequent conditions. It means a Hindu undivided family should be resident in India so that its control and management of its affairs is wholly or partly situated in India. Not ordinarily resident in India. As per section 6, subsection 6, a Hindu undivided family is said to be not ordinarily resident in India in any previous year if it satisfies the loan basic conditions but fails to satisfy both the subsequent conditions. Non resident in India. A Hindu undivided family is said to be non resident in India in any previous year if it fails to satisfy the loan basic conditions. It is immaterial that whether it has satisfied the subsequent conditions or not. And here there are some of the reference books. So if you are having any doubts, you can contact or you can refer the detailed analysis which are mentioned in these books. Thank you.